So without any waste of time, we are starting right now. Okay. So I just have a few things to say. Please listen carefully to the things I have to say. So first, on the general group, we are all required to introduce ourselves. I have actually shared mine. I've dropped my video, so kindly try to do that also. Please, you can stop the raising hand, then now you can click it again so that it will stop, because it shows that you are currently still raising your hands. All right. So that's the first thing I want to
First thing I want to say.
please
Please
put on your
put up your camera, mic.
So I just mentioned that the introduction now it's very important, and also one other thing I want to say is that there's going to be squads, right? There's going to be a squad system, so we are planning to have like 3 squads. So we just want to know the number of participants that are on board first before we start the squading system. More information about this will be released later on. Alright, so our focus today is setup and introduction to Python. So objective, so by the end of this lesson you'll be able to understand what Python is, its history and its key characteristics. Then you'll be able to identify the practical applications of Python, and you should be able to recognize career opportunities for Python developers. You should be able to explain basic programming concepts, including types of languages and the difference between interpreters and compilers. You should be able to install Python and set up Visual Studio Code, VS Code, or any other IDE. And you should be able to write and run your first Python program. So introduction. Python is a high-level interpreted programming language known for its simplicity and readability, making it ideal for beginners and professionals alike. So Python is a high-level language. We'll discuss that later on, what high-level language is. It's an interpreted programming language known for its simplicity and readability. So it's an ideal language for beginners and professionals alike. So it was created by Guido van Rossum, and it was first released in 1991. So since then, Python has grown into one of the most popular programming languages due to its versatility and community support. Now these 2 screenshots I have here is from 2 programming languages. The one on the right here, let me get my highlighter. Okay, the one on the right here is for C language, and this is Python. Now remember earlier I said that Python is a very simple language. It's easy to master. Now in C language you will require these 7 lines of code to run C language, just to get hello world printed, right? Hello world is just like one of the first things you as a programmer that you learn to do. You learn to print hello world on the screen. Sorry, someone just joined now. So in C language you require these 6 lines of code to print hello world, whereas in Python you just type print these are parentheses, and then you have hello world. Now, characteristics of Python. Python is a high-level programming language. It is an interpreted language, meaning that it executes code line by line. Python has a wide range of applications. It can do a lot of things. And it has a readable syntax. Now, there are two versions of Python that you should know, right? So we have Python 2 and Python 3. Now, Python 2 is currently no longer being supported. Python 3 is the one that is still being supported now. So now in Python 2, print is just a statement, while in Python 3, print is a function. So some things that you type in Python 2 might not work in Python 3, but there are some things that did not change. But you don't need to bother yourself about Python 2 because it is no longer being supported, right? So any version of Python you install these days is just Python 3 point something. So it is Python 3 that is being used right now. I hope we are together. If we are still together, kindly signify. You can just type in the message box. Alright. So what can Python do? What can we use Python to do? So Python as a programming language has many applications. It can be applied in different areas because it has a wide library, right? It has a number of libraries available, frameworks. We can use Python for web development. We can use Python for data science and analytics. We can use Python in scientific computing. We can use Python for automation and scripting. We can use Python to build desktop GUI applications, that's graphical user interface. We can use Python for game development. We can use Python in networking, and it is also used in healthcare. Web development. Now, Python is widely used for building websites and web applications. Frameworks like Django, Flask, and Fast API make it easy to create powerful backends with minimal code. Now, Python is used to build the backend of websites, right? Because websites has front end and back end. The front end is the part of the website that users interact with, right? The forms, the different tabs, the different pages, home and all. But there are some logic, there are database logic and all that makes this website function. This aspect is powered by the backend, and Python can be used to do that with libraries like Django, Flask, and so on. These are like Python frameworks that can be used to build backend. Then data science and analytics. Python is a top language for data science due to libraries like pandas. These are some libraries of Python that can be used for data science and data analytics. Panda, NumPy, and Matplotlib. So Python is used for analyzing and visualizing data. It is used for performing statistical analysis, and it is used for making data-driven decisions. Then in science, we use Python for scientific and numerical computing. Libraries like SciPy, SymPy, NumPy are used for scientific computing, and these are Python libraries. So Python is used in physics, biology, astronomy, and engineering fields. So there are complex computing in science world that we can use Python for. Automation and scripting. So we can automate repetitive tasks. Now, what is automation actually? You know, there are some tasks that you have to do the same thing all over again. Tasks like sending emails, file management, and all. We can use Python to automate these tasks, meaning that we make these tasks happen automatically, right? So this can be done with tools like Selenium, Beautiful Soup, and PyAutoGUI. Now, Python is easily integrated with many frameworks. That is one of the reasons why it's very popular. desktop GUI applications. So Python supports building desktop apps with graphical interfaces like TK Inter. Some people call it Tkinter. So TK Inter can be used to build a graphical user interface, right? And we have PyQt and Kiwi. So this can be used to build calculators, games, media players, and so on. So we are going to explore some of these concepts. These might be some of the mini projects you will have to carry out. Then game development. Though Python is not the most common game development language, in fact it is not the choice of industries for game development, but it actually has frameworks that can build games, that can be used for building games. Frameworks like Pygame. Networking. Python is used to develop network tools. It's used for socket programming, and it is even used to simulate networks. So libraries like Socket, Twisted, and Scapy can be used for network automation. They can be used for creating communication protocols. So these are some terms in networking. You might not understand them if you are not into networking. So in healthcare, Python is also used. It is used for analyzing medical data. It is used for bioinformatics. It is used as an AI application like disease prediction. You would agree with me that AI has evolved, right? Now, Python is one of the languages that are used that power many AI tools that we have nowadays. So Python is very versatile in this area because Python is versatile when handling data. So, and AI systems are built upon a lot of data. We call it big data actually. So AI systems run on big data. So libraries like BioPython and TensorFlow are used here. Now, here are some career paths in Python. So if you're a Python developer, you can be a Python backend engineer. So that's, you'll be responsible for designing, building, and maintaining the server-side logic of web applications. Remember the other time I explained that there are two sides to web applications, to websites. We have the front end and the back end. Now the front end is, someone just joined the meeting. Sorry.
I'm looking. Yes, ma'am.
Oh, Victor. Hello, Victor. Victor, are you there? Kindly switch off your camera.
Yes, sir.
Kindly switch off your camera and your microphone.
Okay, sir.
Yes, and your microphone, please. So switch off your cam. You see the video like icon. Click it to switch off your cam. So let's get back. Alright, so sorry for this. Let me erase it. Okay, so Python can be used for developing the back end of web applications. So the back end is where the server-side logic works. So a web application has two major parts. We have the front end and the back end. Now the front end is also known as the client side. That's where you interact with as a user, where you search for things, you browse for things, you download and all. But by the time you are clicking all these buttons and signing in, there are some things that happen in the background, right, that you don't know of. This is the server-side logic, and this can be achieved with programming languages like Python, Java. So Python is very popular in back-end development. Then for machine learning engineer, so you can be a machine learning engineer. So machine learning is just a branch of artificial intelligence actually, and it focuses on making machines to learn from data like human beings, to learn from data. You provide data to computers to learn from. Now I won't call it just computer, because there are a lot of tools that AI can be integrated with. data science. Now you can be a data scientist also as a Python developer. So data scientists are professionals who study data to find hidden patterns and trends. So you can also be a data engineer. You extract, you transform and load data from relational databases using advanced SQL queries. So what I need to say, if you want to be a data engineer or a data scientist, you have to learn more than just Python, right? There are a lot of other tools that are used, like Power BI, there's Excel, there's Tableau, and a lot of other technologies that you have to learn. Now you can also be a DevOps engineer. Now who's a DevOps engineer? Now a DevOps engineer is actually someone that is a form of developer too, right? But the full meaning of DevOps is development and operations. So it does more than development of software. They also handle tasks like the development life cycle. So they maintain the DevOps infrastructure and automate manual tasks in the software development life cycle. So like I said, the DevOps engineer, they go beyond just development, right? So we have data analysts. So now data analysts are actually different from data science, right? Though what they do is close to each other, but it's very different. So they are responsible for data cleaning, data analysis, and all. But you know, data scientists are those who just like study data to find hidden patterns and trends. But these data analysts, they analyze data actually, they clean the data and do a lot of other stuff to make the data easy, understandable to those that will need it. Then automation tester. Now they work in the software development life cycle. They help to identify and fix bugs. So types of languages. Now we have high-level programming languages. So I said earlier that Python is a high-level programming language. So what do we mean by that? Now high-level programming languages are languages that are easier for humans to understand than machine language, right? Machine language is just zeros and ones. Just zeros and ones, so binary code. So high-level languages are actually very simple for humans to understand. They use daily languages like English and mathematics, combination of English and mathematics. You can take a look at this class, triangle, float, surface. You see that all these terms are familiar. Now we have low-level programming languages. These ones they are not machine languages, but still they are not still high-level languages. They are somewhere in between. So they use abstraction, like this load, R1B, and stuff like that. They use abstraction. An example of a low-level language is assembly language. So, and then we have this executable machine code. That's machine language, which is binary. So any question you may have, please you can jot it down at the end of the class. You will have opportunity to ask your questions. Now again, we have natural languages and formal languages. Now what do you mean by natural languages? Natural languages are those languages that evolved naturally. Languages like English, Spanish, French, even Yoruba, and Hausa, and a lot of languages like that they are natural languages. Now formal languages are actually designed specifically, right? They are well structured. No, you can't just you know, in English you can say some things are ambiguous, but there's nothing like that in formal languages. Formal languages like chemistry, mathematics, you agree with me that it works on logic, right? Then computer programming also. Now, like I said earlier, so natural languages, they have ambiguous meanings, meaning that one thing can mean different things, right? So in English now, bank can mean different things in English, but in formal languages like in programming, it does not happen actually. Then natural languages are usually verbose, they are bulky, while formal languages are usually concise. Now natural languages are social, right? We use it for interaction, for social interaction, while formal languages are academic, they are mainly for learning. Now natural languages use idioms and metaphor, while formal languages are literal and exact. The Python interpreter. Now, the Python interpreter acts like a middleman between your Python code and the computer. It reads the code you write in English-like Python syntax and translates it into machine code, the language your computer understands. Now, earlier before I said Python is an interpreted language. Now, we have some languages that are actually compiled. They are not interpreted, like C language now. C language is a compiled language, meaning that you have to write your code and then you compile it. The machine will take it as a whole, and just the compiler will take your whole code as a bunch and just compile it. But actually Python does its own compiling line by line, so it interprets it line by line. So what the Python interpreter does is that it takes the code you write in English and translates it into machine code, because the code you write in Python is not understandable to the computer, right? Your print hello world is not understandable to the computer. So what the computer understands is only ones and zeros. So the Python interpreter has to translate the language into machine code that the computer understands. Code. So what's a code actually? So a code refers to the instructions written in a programming language like Python to make a computer perform tasks. So code is an instruction written. So if you say print hello world, it's a code. It's code. So just think of code as the language a programmer speaks to the computer, right? Now, program. Program is a complete set of coded instructions that the computer can follow to perform a specific task or solve a problem. So program actually is more than just code. You can have chunks of code in a program, right? Meaning that a group of codes that come together to perform a specific function. Now, a program can be a task manager, right? A simple task manager, or like a calculator. You know, it has bunch of codes inside it, right? Now, it is made up of many lines of code. A script. So what's a script? A script, well, is a small program often written to automate simple tasks. So in Python, we write scripts to perform quick jobs like renaming of files or scraping a website. So what do you mean by scraping a website? So web scraping is a way of obtaining information from the internet, making tools to automatically extract information from the internet. So we use AI tools like ChatGPT, Meta AI, and all. So these AI tools actually have built-in web scraping tools, web scraping algorithm rather. So that does that. So they obtain information from the internet. And instruction. So an instruction is a single command or a line of code that tells a computer what to do. So an instruction is a single line of code or command that tells the computer an instruction. For instance, print hello. So print hello is like saying to the computer, okay, I want you to show hello on the screen, right? So an instruction is just a single command. Now, you need to understand what errors are actually, because this is an important vocabulary in the an important word in the tech vocabulary, right? So an error is a problem in your code that prevents it from running correctly. It is also known as a bug. So when you have errors in your code, you can say, okay, I've got a bug. This code is not running. Okay, there's a bug in the code and stuff like that. So we have different types of errors. We have syntax error. Now, a syntax error is the mistake in the structure or format of the code. So it's the mistake in the structure or format of the code. For instance, if you have to write print hello, now normally there should be a closing quotation mark, and there should even be a closing parenthesis here. So it's a syntax error because the structure is wrong. So when the structure of the code is wrong, that's a syntax error. So we also have a semantic error, right? Let me get my highlighter now. Alright, so we have a semantic error. Now, a semantic error is different from a syntax error. A syntax error actually will not run your code, right? Because it will display error for you. So, but a semantic error now will actually run the code. The code will run smoothly, but it will not do what you expect. For instance, let's assume that you put num1 equals 10, meaning that if you want to calculate the average of two numbers, you say num1 equals 10, num2 equals 20, and I say average equals to num1 plus num2 over 2. I say print average. Now what you mean is actually that the Python interpreter should add two numbers and divide it by 2, meaning that we find the average of the two numbers. But what the code will do is actually, you know what? The code is actually going to take num2, divide it first. Now we'll talk about this when we get to operators, how operators work. So what the computer will do is to divide first, and then it will now add num1, which is wrong, right? Now your answer ought to be 15. If num1 is 10 and num2 is 20, that will be 10 plus 20 making 30, and divided by 2, that will be 15. But what the answer you get will be 20 here, because if you first divide 20 by 2, which is 10, and add 10 making 20. So that's a semantic error, because the code ran actually, but it's giving you the wrong, the logic is wrong. That's not what you expect. Now runtime error. What do you mean by a runtime error? Now let's assume that you have you enter a number, an integer, and you enter another one, and you ask the Python interpreter to divide num1 by 92 and get the result. Now what will be the problem now? Let's see. If the user enters 10 now as the first number, and the second number enters 0, now it is impossible to divide by 0. So what will happen is that the interpreter will throw what we call a runtime error. You get a runtime error because you cannot divide by 0. It's not mathematically possible. Alright, so we need to understand the coding environment also. So the coding environment, what are the things you require to code in Python? So in order to code in Python, we need the Python interpreter, right? We need to install the Python interpreter, which is Python itself. Then we need an IDE. What's an IDE? An IDE is the short form of integrated development environment. So we'll talk about that in the next slide. Alright, so we have already discussed what the Python interpreter is. So I'm sure by now you know what the Python interpreter is. So it converts your high-level language into machine language. Now an IDE, integrated development environment, is a software or tool that provides an environment where we can write code, run, debug, and build programs. So what is, let me pause here. Now what do you mean by debugging? Debugging actually means to try and fix the errors in your code, right? Bug is the error, while debugging means to try to fix the error. Trying to fix the error in your code is what is known as debugging. So you can write your code in an IDE, you run it, and then you debug, and then you build programs. Examples of IDE, popular examples are IDLE. Now what's IDLE? IDLE is short form of integrated development and learning environment. That comes pre-installed with Python actually. When you install Python, you get the Python interpreter installed, and you get IDLE, which is a coding environment for Python. But for some reasons, IDLE is not my choice for it's not my choice of IDE, right? Because it lacks some features that some modern IDEs have, right? Now we have Visual Studio Code, VS Code, which is the IDE we'll be using throughout this course. But you feel free to use any IDE you have actually. There's PyCharm also. It is also very easy to use. It is also suitable for Python. In fact, if you are using PyCharm, you don't need to install any extension. So you can easily integrate it with the Python interpreter. But I will be using Visual Studio Code, or you can join with any IDE you have. There's also Notepad actually. Now the Notepad that comes with your computer is a coding environment, but it is not a versatile coding environment. You can just write code there. There's nothing like syntax highlighting and all. There's Sublime Text, there's Atom, all these you can use. So most IDEs like VS Code offers features like code highlighting, meaning that it will change the color of the code based on the kind of instruction you are entering, because Later on, you will learn about different things, different terms in programming, loops, conditionals, and all. So the VS Code highlights the code. In fact, there's a way you know if you are going to get an error. If you are using IDs like VS Code or PyCharm, then it has debugging tools. It has auto completion. So when you type your instructions, it completes for you automatically. So throughout, like I said, throughout this course, we'll be using VS Code. All right. So now we are going to set up our coding environment. Right now we're going to set up our coding environment. So to set up, let me guide you in setting up the coding environment. Now for those that are using PC, you need to install Python. Like I said, you need to install Python and then an IDE, maybe like VS Code or PyCharm. But if you are using a smartphone, you use an app called PyDroid for Android, PyDroid 3. Let me show you that. I'll start sharing my screen now. Oh, sorry, I've not been sharing my screen all this while. I'm so sorry.
Yes, sir.
For that. I'm so sorry for that. I'm so sorry. Don't worry, I'll give you the slides that was used. I'm so sorry. I thought you guys should have notified me of that. I actually expected that. I'm so sorry. But I'll share the slides that was used. So I'll start sharing my screen now so we can set up the environment for coding. So I want to know, can you see my screen right now? Hello, can you see my screen right now? Alright. Oh, Temitojo, you can't see it. Please check again. Wait, you said yes earlier, now you're saying no. Please check again. Can you see my screen? Alright. So, like I said, we need to install two things. We need to install Python. So to install Python, just go to python.org. Python.org. So here you will see it. Just navigate to downloads, and then you see the latest version of Python. Once you click download, it will start downloading here. But I'm not downloading this because I already have Python installed, right? I have Python installed, so I will stop this download. So that's how to get Python installed. Now we need to install an IDE. So if you want, you can use PyCharm. You can use PyCharm. So PyCharm by JetBrains. So you navigate to their official site to download. So when you click download, you will actually see two options for it. Two options for PyCharm. Okay, so if you are using Windows, alright. If you are using Windows, you can select Windows. If you are using Mac OS or Linux, so but I'm using Windows, so I will download this. Alright, so here you have it. Okay, so it starts downloading. I don't need that actually. It's even actually very large, 980 MB. So if you are not using PyCharm, well, VS Code is a good choice. VS Code, you can search for VS Code. It's also free to download. Okay. Alright, so you can select also if you are using Windows, Debian, Debian based Linux like Ubuntu. If you are using Mac OS. Now here we have the user installer. Okay, you can use the zip. Well, this zip actually is just a compressed package. I think it's okay to download the zip version and then you extract it. If you have an extractor like WinRAR, you can download this .zip and then you extract it. So I actually have both installed, so I would not be downloading it again. But then I want to show you the installation process of Python. Alright. Okay, so I have the installer for Python here. So if I launch it now it is showing this because I have it already installed, right? I have it already installed. But if peradventure you are installing it for the first time, you are going to see usually I'll make a video recording of that, or if you need help installing Python, you can just reach out, but it should not be hard to install because there are a couple of things you just have to do. One, you have to add Python to parts. You have to tick a checkbox, add Python to parts, because it's very important. Maybe I will make a video of that and show you and share it on the group later on, so you understand what I'm talking about. So if the environment is set up now, so then we are good to go. Then we could just try our first program. You can write your first program. Let's can head over to VS Code or whatever you are using. If you are using Pydroid 3, if you are on Android, you can just head over to this. Okay. I don't want this. I want a new window. Okay, I want a new window. Alright. So I'm going to create a new file. You can just type main.py. You can call it any name, but all Python files must have the .py extension. So the extension must be .py so that it will be recognized as a Python file. So it's asking me for the location I want to put it. Let me just put it on desktop, and then let me leave it as all files. Then I can click create file. So here you can just type any Python code. Now our first Python code will be print hello world, right? Print, type print, and then you put the quotes, the parentheses, then you have the quotes, and you put write hello world. So you click this play button here to run it, and it's going to be displayed in the terminal. So you have hello world. So if you are able to do this, then you have successfully set up your Python environment. So I will make a video of how to set up VS Code also for Python development. I'll make that and send it tonight, so you guys can have access to it. Alright. So that's all we have for today's class. So right now I'll be entertaining questions. Oh, you weren't seeing my screen, damn Larry. But did you see through the Python installation process? Alright, so don't worry, the Python installation process and setup, I will make a video of that. Right, I'll make a video of that and the VS Code setup. And if you are an Android user too, I'll make a video of how to set up your environment also. So is there any question? I'll be entertaining question now. Okay, none from Dam Larry. Okay, others. Zipporah, any question? And Victor, any question? Now, okay, all right. Now for the record, please, anytime you are joining the meeting, always type your name, because attendance will be taken for every class, right? Attendance will be taken for every class. Please always type your name, because Victor, you did not use your name, so please always type your name. So like I said, there will be squad system, so we are going to organize all participants into squads. So more information about this will be communicated across. But then again, please do the introduction that has been asked, that has been required. Please do that as soon as possible. Thank you all for joining the class. So see you again next time.